you know, Cuse fans, they put the Maine Black Bears in a trap. Nice victory. Don't you think when you watch the first half of the recent Syracuse Maine game that it seemed like you had been there before, Cuse fans? That's what I thought. I watched the first half, especially the first quarter, and the thing is, I started getting feelings watching how it progressed. And also, from last week when I watched Michigan Notre Dame's ending, I had to wonder, watching that and watching Syracuse and Maine, did you think you had been there before? I started having thoughts of Dionne Warwick. You know? Deja vu. Could you be the dream that I once knew? Is it you? But enough of hearing a great slow song from the late 70s. It was the same thing as last year, a slow start, but a hell of a finish. Maine scoring the first touchdown, then Syracuse behind the arm of Ryan Nassib coming down the field, and a nice return by Mike Holmes, right down to the first touchdown toss to Alec Lemon Lime Soda. But then Maine comes back, takes the lead again, and then back comes the Orange, down to Russ Krautman, who showed he's no Germany, kicking that field goal, making it 14-10. And then just before the half, what a nice thing there by Jose Cruz, coming back to the ball and just barely staying in the end zone. Don't you think he wanted to do what Jay Remersma did years ago for the Bills? Do the lean-to when he makes the catch. That's what he had to do. The lean-to. That's what, those tight ends are perfect for that type of catch. And instead of Maine leading at the half like last year, it was Syracuse, 17-14. But those feelings of deja vu kept creeping up again, because look what happened in the second half. Flat out domination by the Orange. And instead of Dionne Warwick, I started thinking of one of the great all-time personalities in sports, Mr. Yogi Berra. Because it's deja vu all over again. And when you go to the Dome to buy them Dome dogs, you gotta use cash, because it's just as good as money. Because I like to go to my favorite restaurant afterward, but nobody goes there anymore, because it's too crowded. And if you get hurt and you miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. But thanks for the isms, Mr. Berra. Let's get back to it. Ryan Nassib and the Orange offense going into overdrive, just like they did last year. Passing their way to 5 touchdowns. Ryan Nassib sets a new Syracuse record for passing touchdowns in a game. Even better than arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in Syracuse history, Donnie McPherson and Donovan McNabb. The 2 Dons. But they're not Dons like Don and also Vito and also Corleone. Because he'd probably make you an offer you couldn't refuse. And you better watch out, because my friend Luca Brasi, he sleeps with the fishes. Let's get back to the game. No more Godfather. Although I wonder if Michael's gonna come down and hunt me. But some more good touchdowns. Especially those wide arcs that Nassib threw in the air. And who knew geometry could come right into a football game? What was my former geometry teacher come back again? Oh no, he passed away a few years ago. But somehow, that was a mathematician's dream how Nassib threw those touchdowns to Alec Lemon, to Nick Provo, who proved he's not from Utah, and also the last touchdown. And 38-14 has a nice ring to it. And guess what? It's another FCS opponent coming up this week, back in the big house. Our good friends from 15 miles to the southeast, the Colgate Raiders. Who knew they dropped red from their nickname? Maybe they're red with envy. Or maybe my friend, Tina Leone Rook, probably might have had something to do with it. Because when she went to school there, they were the Colgate Red Raiders. Now they're just the Raiders. But they don't wear the silver, and they don't wear the black. But these Raiders are a dangerous bunch. They are a pretty good FCS team. Maybe even could qualify for the FCS playoffs. And their coach, Dick Biddles and Kits, which was the forerunner of Kibbles and Bits before they decided to rename it. He's a pretty darn good football coach. He even signed a 3-year extension, if I believe that's correct. But this is a great old rivalry. Colgate has faced Syracuse the second most time of any Syracuse opponent. But the last game 23 years ago was one that was cause for concern. It came right after the high in that glorious 1987 season of beating Penn State. And with schools this close playing on the gridiron, tempers flare. And that's what happened. And that's why Mr. Gregory, one of our great defensive ends of that 1987 team, suffered an injury that pretty much ruined his career. Because, he was expected to be a high pick. Even though he still went in the first round, his career pretty much was ruined by that cheap shot. But let's hope for calmer waters, shall we? Even though I know who's going to win. Talent winds up any day on the football field. And an FCS team at times just can't compete with an FBS team. But say that to the 6 other FCS schools who've beaten FBS opponents on the gridiron this season. Well, we'll see next week, shall we? I'm Ken Haas. That's my story. And good going, Cuse. Let's win another one in the big house.